Hey guys, welcome back to Andy's Dinosaur Reviews, and today we have an absolutely awesome looking figure here to take a look at. This is not only a brand new Safari Ltd release, it is actually the final Safari Ltd release for this year, for the year of 2022. This is the Stygimoloch, and this is actually a Dino Dana figure, which is pretty cool, because you can use this in their AR app when you can scan it. It actually has a scan code on the tag, so that you can scan it and acquire this dinosaur in that app. But it's also cool because it's a figure that I honestly think looks so much better in person than I expected it to. I was a little thrown off initially when I had seen this by the coloration that they had chosen for it, but here in hand it actually looks awesome. Like, it looks so much better as far as the coloration goes here in hand, and that happens a lot where you'll see a dinosaur and you'll think, it doesn't look that great, and then you see it in person and it is just miles better than you expected it to be. That's definitely the feeling I'm getting here with this Stygimoloch, because the paint scheme actually looks super nice here in hand. And I do want to give a huge shout out and a thank you to Safari Ltd for sending this over to me for me to take a look at and review here on the channel for you guys. So a huge thank you goes out to them. And speaking of them, actually, they have given me a discount code to get you guys a really nice discount if you are interested in ordering any Safari Ltd figures. You can use the code Andy at checkout on the website right now to save yourself some money when purchasing this or any other figures from the Safari Ltd website. And yes, this is actually in stock on the website now, so make sure you head on over there and grab it. But again, it looks beautiful here at first glance, so let's jump to a closer look at it right now. So starting up here at the head sculpt of our Stygimoloch, you can see we have some beautiful looking scale detail, quite abundant throughout the entire face here of the figure. You can also see that it has some really nice coloration with kind of like some pinkish tones here on the face. You can also see all of the tons of spikes and everything leading off of the head sculpt here of our Stygimoloch are very nicely painted, and they're all painted with kind of like a light tannish type of a coloration. And then our dome skull area here also has a little bit of a darker area up here, kind of like a nice darker gray, which has been beautifully airbrushed on. It looks like potentially very nice paint application. You can even see like some osteoderms and stuff up here, like some kind of bumps on the top of the head of the Stygimoloch, and definitely looks really cool. Our Stygimoloch is sculpted with the mouth in an open position, and you can see the tongue in there. The tongue is actually kind of like a purplish color, like a really dark purple, which looks neat on the figure. I didn't actually expect that. And I do notice a bit of a gloss coat there on the inside of the mouth, and you can see the beak as well sports that same type of coloration that you see on all of the many bumps, ridges, spikes all over the head sculpt here of our Stygimoloch. Again, you have that same coloration there for the beak. And you can see this side of the head also looks really nice. The eyes are kind of like squinted a little bit here on this version, and you can see that the coloration of the eyes are actually the same color, again, as all of those spikes, and we have a black pupil. It's hard to really make out if there's a gloss coat there, but I definitely think I see a gloss coat at the very least on the black pupil of the Stygimoloch. But as you start to move down the course of the neck, you can see again some more really nice scale detail, but it gets really fine here in the neck region. You can also see the throat here on the underside is really nicely sculpted and elaborated. And as you continue to move back here into the body, you can take note to the fact that the scales start to increase in size, and once they reach the stomach region, they actually get pretty big. You can see those scales are quite large in the stomach region of the Stygimoloch. There's also the shoulder blade there kind of protruding from the skin slightly, but not very much, not to the point where it's like looking shrink wrapped at all. And you can see as we lead down here into the arm, we transition from that pinkish tone to kind of a lighter tone here before it transitions back again to that same dark gray that we see on the top of the head of the Stygimoloch. And you can also take note to the nice finger sculpts that we have out there on the hands. And you can also see that the hands are in a slightly different position on this side compared to the opposing side. The other arm is outstretched a little bit further forward. This one's held into the body a little bit more. The Stygimoloch is definitely taking a pretty good leap forward, and honestly, due to the positioning, it looks like it's running, if you ask me, and you can definitely see a pretty wide stretch between the 2 feet here as the dinosaur is doing exactly that. Nice muscle definition in the thigh as well as the calf. Moving down, you can see the kneecap, and you'll lead down into the foot sculpt. You've got some nice scoots down the toes. Really nice, really bird-like foot sculpt for sure on the Stygimoloch, and the nails are sculpted very nicely. They're kind of like a dark, almost like a pavement gray for the nails. And you do also see the darker gray that you see up on the head as well as on the hands starting to show up and kind of overtake the toes and the lower part of the foot of the Stygimoloch. And then as we lead back up here, you can kind of see the skin stretching off of the tail. Again, with that leg leading so far forward, it would definitely be doing that. And as you lead at the length of the tail, you can take note to the spinal column here running up along the top, as well as a really nice looking tail sculpt. And what I really like about this is that there's not like any type of crazy bends or turns or anything. Like, it is really straight. There's a slight curve. You can see a slight curve from up above. But as far as like this position, it's not like leading down or bending or anything. Like, it's just really straight. I actually really like that look because it's not something you often see, and I think it looks great on this figure. And then on the opposing side, you can see pretty much the same detailing here in the neck. Again, the Stygimoloch does have its head turned slightly to the right, but it's not like any type of a drastic turn or drastic difference as far as the sculpt goes. Over here, you can now see what the arm looks like on this side. Again, how it's a little bit further forward than the opposing arm. Really nice kind of skin wrinkles and stuff here leading back through the stomach, and you can see the skin stretching here because, again, with the Stygimoloch appearing to be running, the legs trailing pretty good over here, so you would see the skin stretching off of the stomach right there. And again, some more really nice looking scale detail as you move along the course of the figure. You can even see a little girth in the stomach region, making it look nice and healthy. And again, we have those larger scales as we lead back here a little further into the body. You've got the muscle definition yet again in both the thigh and calf, and the kneecap showing yet again. And then you can see the foot sculpt here as the toes are starting to leave the ground as our Stygimoloch is probably running and scurrying by us. And then you can lead out the length of the tail yet again with all the really nice skin texture, scale detail, as well as the really nice coloration. Again, I think the pinkish tones look really cool on this figure, and again, a lot better than I thought they were going to. And specifically, these splotches of like that light pink look so much more natural than I was expecting. I feel like sometimes it's a little hard to apply a splotchy type of a pattern like that to a figure and have it actually look natural and not look so much like paint on a figure, but Safari Ltd definitely did a great job on applying that. So as a whole, this is again a really nice looking figure, much nicer than I was expecting it to be, and definitely another really fun release from Safari Ltd for this year. And when I first brought the figure in, it was in that little plastic stand, so it's nice to actually have it out of the stand here and show you guys that it can stand very nicely on its own without that stand. So for a size on our Stygimoloch, you are looking at lengthwise just shy of about 8.5 inches, or around 21.5 centimeters. And then for a height to the top of the head, a little over 3 inches, maybe approaching 3.25 inches, or around 8 centimeters. For a size comparison, here is the absolutely beautiful Safari Ltd Dino Dana version of their feathered Tyrannosaurus Rex next to the Stygimoloch. And you can see that the Stygimoloch, of course, is a smaller size figure, but it also is pretty decent size. Definitely has some pretty good length to it. It's not very, very small. It's probably, I would say, like a medium-sized figure, and you could probably see that here next to this Rex. Then for another size comparison, we have the Stygimoloch here next to the brand new Safari Ltd Cryolophosaurus, which might be the nicest Cryolophosaurus figure ever. And you can definitely see again that these are a similar size, but the Stygimoloch I think might be slightly larger in the body mass department. But for another comparison, here we have the Nanotyrannus from Safari Ltd for this year next to the Stygimoloch, again showing that they are yet again a fairly similar size, not too far off from each other. But for another comparison, here we've got the Stygimoloch next to the 2022 Zool from Safari Ltd. Again, giving you a good idea of the fact that it still sports a pretty decent size, but one figure that's definitely going to be larger, actually let me move them over a little bit, than the Stygimoloch is this beautiful beast right here, as we've got the Albertosaurus now next to the Stygimoloch here. But we're going to go old school right now with a comparison and bring in a really old Safari Ltd figure, as we have a very old Pachycephalosaurus, so a figure that I thought maybe you guys might have that would be a good comparison. But for yet another comparison, and the final comparison, we have the Safari Ltd Eutyrannus next to the Stygimoloch here. Again, a very popular Safari Ltd figure is the Eutyrannus, so I thought that would be a pretty good one to again bring in here for a size comparison. So this brand new Safari Ltd Dino Dana Stygimoloch is yet another really cool figure from Safari Ltd for this year. They absolutely had an awesome lineup full of all kinds of really cool species and really cool figures this year, and it's nice to, I guess, throw the icing on the cake here with this Stygimoloch as the last release for this year. I'm super excited to find out what they're going to be releasing next year, but I definitely think that this was a really fun year from them, and again, we had quite a bit of really cool figures, and this Stygimoloch is definitely another nice one, and like I said earlier, so much nicer in hand than I was expecting it to be. Originally, the color scheme with the like pinks and stuff really threw me off because it's not the type of color you would expect to work so well on a dinosaur, but in hand it really does look very nice and really striking. The coloration really complements the dinosaur as a whole, and now actually having seen the figure here in hand, I might be convinced that this could be the coloration of a Stygimoloch, which is pretty impressive that Safari Ltd was able to change my mind on that and make pinks potentially a realistic coloration of a dinosaur. And again, it looks really nice and natural as far as the actual application of the paint, which is also quite impressive. On top of the very cool color scheme, we have a really nicely sculpted out figure with some fantastic scale detail throughout, and I really love the pose of this one because it really gives me the feeling of the Stygimoloch running. Like I could just envision like a group of these running through somewhere together, and they're obviously either, evading a predator or just generally in a hurry to get somewhere, but it definitely to me looks like it's running. The stiff, like straight out tail gives me that vibe, as well as the long stride that the dinosaur has going on also helps to give me the feeling that the dinosaur is potentially fleeing a predator or something. It also actually has its mouth open, kind of almost looking like it's a little bit afraid, so that also helps to give it that kind of an appearance. But I'm definitely a fan of the pose, the positioning of the figure that they've given it. Yet another really cool aspect to this one. And again, don't forget that you can use the code that is available on the tag to scan this into the Dino Dana app and check out the dinosaur in there as well. So if you are interested in this, I will include a link in the description to where you can pick this up for yourself. Again, I want to give a huge last shout out to Safari Ltd for being awesome and sending this over to me to review for you guys. And again, I want to remind you guys to use the code Andy at checkout when you head on over there to order this or any other Safari Ltd figures to save yourself a little bit of money off of your order. So make sure you do that, and make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next review. Thanks for watching.